Also, should thank all of you for coming
All right, so
out.
let's start this. Values for release date. When's it going to be? No, I'm just kidding. All right, so this is going to be pretty much a kind of informal, really kind of just loosely discussion about PvP, some ideas we have, some questions we want to ask the players, stuff like that. So to get people familiar with the voices, this is Rogan. You guys can introduce yourselves as well. So go ahead.
Hey, this is Nilbog.
Hello, everybody. This is Sirken.
What's up, guys? This is Zade.
All right, so one of the things that's been a common topic on the forums that everybody knows that I hate every time I see it, but that's probably why they talk about it, is wipe the server. So if you know me, you know that is actually never going to happen. We will never wipe a server on Project 1999. With that said, we've come up with some other ideas instead of wiping a server. But before I talk about them, I actually want to ask you guys, why is it that a server wipe is so appealing to you? Now, it's our opinion that, one of the most common reasons is that, there's somebody, you have a guild that gets to the top of the server, they're the max level, and they pretty much control the server. And then at that point, it's hard for other players to get up there and challenge them, and a server wipe helps alleviate that a little bit by giving other people a chance to get to that top spot. So I can see why that would be something people would be interested in, but I don't think it's a legitimate reason to start a server over or wipe a server for any reason. But I'm interested to see if there are any other reasons other than that. I'm sure there are. We discussed a few internally, but I want to see if they come up at all here. So give us your thoughts on that. Let's see what opinion you guys have about that. Oh, Tiggles is in here because they're casual scrubs. But I mean, you guys are welcome to also chime in with your opinions on that. Sirken and Nilbog, I know you guys have some. Did everybody suddenly get quiet because we started, or what?
No, no, no. Sorry, I was doing all kinds of everything that I shouldn't have been doing. I was doing instead of really paying attention.
Yeah, I'm here. Also, it's really fun to play a new server. So constantly, people who just find the project will want to start fresh, get a guise and a mana stone and fun stuff.
Oh, you asked about wiping, right? You asked about why people want to wipe.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what? I hate to say it, but I think it's because people are retarded. Um, and I'll explain that. I won't just call them retarded. But the reason I say that is because they think things will be different. And if you just hit a reset button and keep every other factor exactly the same, why would you expect any kind of different outcome?
All right, one person just said, the only people that want a wipe are people that can't get into Nihilum or people that hate, or they have a grip on the server. I agree with the latter point. Nihilum does kind of have control of the server right now, and that's not how it should be. There should always be at least a few different guilds that have control. That's what makes the competition. Having one guild at the top is not an optimal thing for a PvP server to have. So it's kind of creating a unique situation for this. So um, I'm going to see what else other people have to say here. Tons of Asperger's.
I have one person who, I believe this is Light from the Red server, who is saying that one of the reasons he thinks wipes are bad and I agree with him, is because it destroys a certain confidence that players have in Project 1999, knowing that even if they go away for 6 months or 12 months, when they come back, their characters will still be here. They never have to worry that they're wasting their time on these servers.
Right. That's one of the reasons P9 will never go through a wipe ever, because it destroys the trust that the community has in the server.
Yes.
It's one of the most worst things that could possibly happen to it. I think I have your screen up somewhere.
I actually can say I saw that firsthand with the old VZTZ server. Every time it wiped, It was always, we'd probably lose 40% of our population every time we wiped it. So I really don't think anybody thinks a wipe is a good idea that also has a legitimate reason for why it would be a good idea.
I'm actually going to change my stream layout real quick before I get into the next thing.
I got Nilbog staring at a rock. I'm Nilbog. I got a big fucking gun and I stare at this rock.
It's kind of strange because my game resolution is not matching up with the Twitch resolution. Why is that?
Probably God.
Oh, nope, now it is.
Oh.
I gotta like resize it to match it. It's like, seriously? Can't it just do this automatically? Oh god, hold on. Oh, wait.
So I'm going to talk so you guys probably can't listen to whatever Rogan's talking about. I feel we've probably beaten the issue to death on wiping. There's really not much to say. We don't do it. Don't ask for it. I delete your threads because it's an absolute waste of my eye time to look at it. But that being said, we don't do it. We're not going to wipe it.
I got it.
Nice.
Just a screen. Now I wonder if there's a way to make something transparent. Of course, you're not going to be able to help me because you're using XSplit.
Yeah.
Opacity. Oh. Oh, hey. There we go. Oh. All right. All right. So, what were the quick overview? So, what were some of the reasons that people said just because Nihilum has a control of the server, basically, and
Yeah, I mean, really, that's the only thing I've heard is that Nihilum won this server. Let's start over. It's always more fun to have a fresh new thing and everybody on the same grounds. But they've never given a reason for why things would ever end up different. And I mean, it really doesn't matter based on lack of a single good reason and based on and really I think the whole staff is in agreement on the policy of no wiping. I'm pretty sure it's a dead issue at this point.
All right, a couple things people are saying. I'll address Little Gino first. He said, what about copying characters from blue to red? And we actually had an internal discussion about that earlier. If you're talking about a straight copy, not a move, literally a copy, then you have a huge problem with inflation, because people will load up one character, then copy that character, or they'll load up with like platinum. They'll get everybody in their guild to flood platinum to one person, copy it, and then that new character has all the platinum on the other server, while the original character is still there, and then they just redistribute that platinum back out to whoever gave it to them originally. The second issue is that it's also unfair to the people that did legitimately level characters on the destination server. So character copies, I don't think will ever be something we'll do. The only situation that a character copy would make sense in is like a beta server that is going to go away at some point.
Would you be completely against future possibility of a character transfer?
Not against it, no, but we'd have to see what kind of situations that would come up in and the
Yeah.
circumstances regarding them.
Okay.
And then the other question somebody had, oh, they were comparing it to the blue server, where TMO right now seems to be the top guild, and that's far less of an issue, I think, in my opinion, because it's not a PvP server. When you have one guild that can just kill everybody and control all the raid mobs, at least on the blue server, we have a raid rules, we have, first to engage. It gives other guilds the opportunity to get in there. It definitely is an issue when one guild is, recruiting most of the players, or, has all the players that are able to commit the time and be able to log in at any time of the day, stuff like that. But Tickles just got his warning for trying to link something.
Yeah, I would just say as far as the copying thing, Vazgul brought up the same thing I did earlier. If you did it with no droppables and no money, it wouldn't have an effect on the economy. It would only be the leveling thing.
Sorry, hold on a sec. Okay, so the reason we're asking about all of this, what reason we brought up the wiping the server will never happen thing, is because what we are considering doing, this is the first time we will actually announce that as something we're seriously considering doing, we probably will end up doing based on player feedback
Dun
as a
dun
result of this
dun.
discussion, is that we're thinking of opening a second PvP server while keeping the original red PvP server open. It'll stay up. We're going to open a second server, give people a chance to have a fresh start on that server. What we are considering, though, is also changing the entire rule set of the server. We're going back to the start and just considering all the different types of gameplay, such as, do we want to have teams? Do we want to have item? All those things are being considered right now. So that's one of the reasons that we're having this discussion, is we're going to try to touch on all of those subjects right now. So the first subject, obviously, is what kind of server it will be. So right now, the red server is an FFA server. We're considering a team server, and the reason that I see the appeal for a team server is that it kind of helps alleviate the issues of having one guild at the top, and it helps alleviate the problem of a new player starting out. They don't have really a guild to join right away. Well, if you have a team server, they're forced to be a member of that team. It gives incentive for the players at the top to help them out, because later on they're going to also be high level, and they'll have no choice but to work together anyways. So there are many other reasons. You guys can go ahead with what your opinions are.
If you have teams from the beginning, from the start of a server, there's a natural order to things, like who's your team, who's not. You make natural groups and alliances based on your team, and that's good for a community.
Somebody just mentioned split 100 population. I don't consider this splitting the current population. Yes, the current server will probably be impacted by this, but I don't think you're going to see 100 players on red move over 100 players on the new red. I think what you'll see is a lot of new people starting out. A lot of people that didn't want to originally play on the red server because it didn't seem like it was that easy for them to get started on the server. It was too difficult to get into any guilds, to actually get anywhere, to level, because they're just constantly getting killed. So I think it will introduce a lot of new players as well. And I'd like to see feedback from that as well from you guys. If you're somebody who doesn't currently play on one of the servers or doesn't currently play on Red server, would you be interested in a new team server?
And just to echo what Rogan was saying, I've talked to a lot of players here, and a lot of them have told me that part of the reason they switched to blue is because if you don't know anybody, you're just essentially you're bait for everybody else. I mean, you have nobody on your side. You have nobody willing to help you. You have nobody who wants to group with you. You have barely anyone to trade with that you don't have to worry about ganking you if they're in range. Having some kind of teams, it puts people, maybe they might not be on your side, but they can't kill you. So they are more likely to group with you. They are more likely to answer questions if you have questions. It's just more of a community friendly, socializing friendly, long-term survivalness friendly thing.
I also forgot to mention also one of the core issues, not one of the core issues, one of our plans for this server. We would release this new server with the disclaimer that in a certain amount of time, probably something like 6 months, maybe longer, maybe shorter, we will be merging the current red servers, both of the PvP servers.
Combo breaker.
The way that will happen exactly is we will evaluate which server has the higher population, which is more popular, and what the players want. We will not continue forever with 3 servers. We will be reduced back down to 2 servers after a certain amount of time. Whether that means that the current red server now gets merged into blue, or the current red server now gets merged into the team server, or the team server gets merged into the current red server, or the team server gets merged into blue, whatever, what have you, we will figure that out. But it is not our intention to have 3 servers for longer than about 6 months or so. I mean, I see a lot of mixing opinions. I see people that, a lot of people like the idea of teams. And in my opinion, I think that it will encourage a lot of new players to join. So I don't think that it will result in 2 low population servers right to begin with. I think we'll get actually a good population of people starting off on that. And especially when you have a team server, it's not like you're just alienated right away. So
Right. I had people back in the day on Valenzac was teams. I had people in guilds that we were kill on sight status with that because they were also on my team, we were buddies. I mean, we didn't have the option to fight each other, so we just became pals, and that wouldn't have ever happened without teams.
a lot of people are mentioning like specifically SZ rule set now. I don't know specifically what the different rule sets had exactly as far as how many teams, what type of binding.
The difference of Sullen Zek is that if you just want team information, it was balanced, it was hard-coded, and it was deity-based. But I mean, when they say they want SZ rules, they're usually also including they want no level limit, so you can PK a level 8 at level 60, and no training rules, because training was allowed everywhere, and etc., etc. It was a no-rule server, essentially.
Okay, I wanted to address also. You guys are bringing up the fact that resists have not been optimal. They haven't been that way for a long time. We know that there's a few issues that included with the current red server. I was hoping to have something to announce tonight regarding a new PvP developer. That discussion is still ongoing internally. We have somebody in mind, somebody who we've already approached, that has been willing to help us, willing to join the team. Nothing's been finalized yet, though, so I can't really announce anything officially. However, I did want to let you guys know that we are considering somebody that will probably be on the team soon. And they have already expressed interest as well. So that will happen soon, and their focus will be fixing the PvP server stuff first.
And he has PvP experience.
Yeah, he's from the PvP server, right? Is he?
He is. I don't know how specific you want me to get on that.
Well, does he play? Or has he played?
He has. He's played. He's played on multiple PvP servers.
I think people already know who it is. It's Yishen. He says it's Yishen. Yeah, Yishen's gonna be diving into that code.
Oh, Jesus.
But so that's something to look forward to. As long as we get that finalized, we will have somebody helping to fix some of the PvP issues that are outstanding.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of teams, obviously. I'm biased as hell because it's my EQ background, but I just think it's when you compare the amount of pros to the amount of cons. I know the big con for teams is if we have teams, we're not going to have as many PvP targets. Oh, man. And I get all that, but you can't really, I mean, right now, half the guild or half the servers in one guild and half the servers against that one guild, and you only have access to 50% of the player base anyway. If we do something that adds a shit ton of players, yes, I mean, there's more in-game limits because you can't kill people on your team, but if you throw another 200 or 300 players on that server, you will have more targets overall. So don't worry about, oh, we won't have targets.
I have a problem.
What kind of problem?
My beer's out.
That's why I got a second one ahead of time.
Well, I did too. I got a second one at the same time as you. I mean, it's still gone.
Drink slower. Damn, you're talking. How are you?
Just big sips. I don't know. I'll be right
Do
back.
what you gotta do. Do what you
Yeah.
gotta do.
AFK, like 2 minutes.
So, chat room peoples, I will say that at the end of all of this, because I'm sure we're not being the greatest at taking questions. I know a lot of questions are coming in and barely any of them are getting picked up right now. We're going to kind of open the floor to you guys. I keep showing my Skype window. I'm sorry. We're going to open the floor to you guys and try to get as many of your words in as possible. But we also want to say a bunch of shit first because we want you to know where our heads are at and where our heads have been and where it looks like our heads are probably going to be going. So, that being said, I think Rogan's back. I heard shit flying around.
I had my mic muted, so you didn't hear me. I just unmuted it though.
Well, someone's throwing things around.
It's probably Nilbog.
I could see that. Nilbog strikes me as the type of guy to just throw shit around. So,
Given the opportunity for a new server, it would be good to at least try something like teams from the beginning and look at population, and then also try optional rule sets. And that's something that I would want to hear from people from if they want some type of item loot, even for a limited amount of time from a fresh server to try it. Do it for science. I mean, it's worth trying out, and I want to hear what people have to think about it.
I just got to ask the question. If we merge the servers later on, would characters on Red be able to change their race to be on a different team? Now, the first problem with that is we haven't actually decided what types of teams will be. So we're not saying the teams are going to be based on race or even deity right now. That's actually something we still have to discuss. So we can actually go into that discussion right now if you guys want. There's a few different options, I guess, and we can also open up some threads about this on the forums later on, or even have a Q&A later or something. But I made it aware that I'm not familiar with all the different rule sets that Live had for PvP servers. I know that they had their FFA server. They had a few different team servers, right?
2, 3. 3 if you count Sullen. I don't count Sullen.
So what would you say are the major options for what different types of teams we have, Sirken?
Well, you have the Sullen Zek option. You have the Valen Zek option. You have a custom option like which Nilbog posted in the forums, like an East Coast, West Coast, with Freeport being a site of contention. And then you could even do a like a merged version of Valenczek where you just put the elves and the shorties on one team, the humanoids on one team, and all the dark races on one team. Yes, I understand that that means certain teams won't have access to all the classes. I do understand that. But at the same time, I feel that, like I said earlier, the dark team always has the most people, and their amount of numbers is actually balanced out by the light races having those extra classes. You know, they don't have the numbers, but they have tracking players. They have bards, etc., etc.
All right, so we talked about this a little bit earlier.
Somebody brought up the idea of letting people choose a team at character selection.
Well, I mean, don't
How,
they essentially do that anyway?
as if it's deity, yeah, but not all class race combinations have all the deities available. But and you also have to figure out which deities go to which one. But I'm talking about like completely separate UI option. Are you don't want to be on team A or team B or team C? You know,
Like, absolutely regardless of race or creed or anything like that, just you get
it
to pick your team?
it's an option on the table.
I would like that. I mean, it would definitely allow each team to have every class and race. So you can't say, oh, these guys are better because they have the ogre tanks and we don't. Or, oh, these guys are better because they have rangers. I don't know.
So yeah, we're gonna have to probably lay out on a post somewhere the pros and cons of each different types of team systems, including um, specific details regarding which class, race, and deity combinations will go to which team, and which teams would be left with or without certain classes, certain roles.
You want to do a quick roll call on the people to see if they prefer like 2 teams or 3 teams or 4 teams? Just have them
Sure.
throw a number at us?
Yeah, you guys can just go ahead and paste away what you guys think a number of teams. You can either say 2, 3, 4, or it doesn't matter. I could probably do a poll with Nilbog, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Well,
3 seems to be a very
yeah, I'm seeing a lot of 3s as well. I only saw 1 4, a couple 2s, and the rest are 3s.
X teaming allowed. What is that?
Cross teaming. Basically, when a dark elf and a wood elf get together and make sweet, sweet love. It's that forbidden love.
Oh, so as in they can group together?
They can, yeah, they can group, they can heal each other, they can guild together. Um, Basically, they can be buddy pals. That's something that used to happen on Valenczek.
But then how does the PvP actually work?
Well, you kill people. What do you mean? I mean,
Oh, you kill people in PvP. I didn't know that. I
every
didn't know PvP was about killing people.
well, I mean, it wasn't guild versus guild. You had your teams. The major teams were your darkies and your lighties, and then you would have your random offshoot
Well, what I'm saying is
purists.
you say they can group together,
Yes.
but like let's say you have a group of mixed teams, and then like what is it like? Let's say somebody outside the group wanders by, and like what only half the group can actually attack that person because of their team
All right.
alignment. Or
Say
what?
you have 2 elves and 2 humans and 2 darkies in a group. All right,
This
and
is all the 3 different types of
the
teams,
three
right?
different teams.
Yep.
And dark elf Sirken runs by. Okay, and I start just beating the everlasting shit out of those elves and shorties, and or you know what I mean, the other 2 people that aren't darkies. But one of your darkies happens to be a cleric. Now I can't hurt this cleric because he's a dark elf, he's a darkie. But that cleric can sit there and heal his group members all day long, and there's nothing I can do to stop it, except
They
maybe.
can't attack you either. They can just heal their allies.
Right, they can't attack me either because we're on the same team. But
Not
they
sure how I
can.
feel about that.
Well, it was a pain in the ass to deal with. I mean, I remember the Darky team of the cross-teaming 12 Prophets used to send their every time like a Dark Guild would come to try and take Sebulus from the cross-teamers, they would send all their Darky wizards up to the entrance, and as the Dark Guild would zone in, they would just be casting different kinds of area helping things for their people, and none of them could do anything. They would just all stand there being ready to heal as people were running in trains, feigning death mobs, fucking doing whatever they want to do.
All right, so Sal and Zek didn't have that, though. That was hard-coded teams. You could only group with your own team members, right?
Yes, you could only guild with your own team. You could only
And
group
how many
with your
teams
own
did
team.
Sal and Zek have?
Had three. It was lights, neutrals, and darks. They shifted some shit around to balance it out. By by shifting some shit around, I mean they added some deity options to
Yeah, I'm
some
already seeing
races.
a lot of people say that the cross-team grouping would be probably a bad idea.
Yeah, well, we have the option of using different things. We don't have to choose from the originals. That's the
Right,
best part, is
exactly.
that we have players from all of the PvP servers.
Yeah, and with
So
the way that we can modify the client now, we can basically do whatever we want, even as far as name colors.
I just want to say I really hope that if there is a darky team, that the color is that bright orange.
Well, we don't... I mean, we could have each team as their own color, or we could just have it show that everybody who's not on your team is red.
I'm just saying, I miss the bright orange for the darkies. That's all.
So there's a lot of different ways we can go with the teams.
Lots of possibilities.
You know.
So, but it's definitely gonna be a team server, huh? That's what we're saying.
Looks like it's a
Because I like it if that's what we're saying.
well-accepted idea.
I think so. In the essence of trying the whole science experiment, keeping it different.
I think from the get-go it should be teams to see what happens, and we do have the option of changing it. Obviously, teams to free-for-all is always doable, but it's worth trying out.
Okay, so I have a pretty good question from FlexBuff. If one of you head honchos want to take it, they want to know: will the new server launch Classic or Kunark, and is there any kind of ETA on when it would be released?
So that's also something we can talk about. This is Project 1999 at its core, and our opinion is to launch the server as a classic server originally. This will give people the opportunities to get guys with deceivers and other, rare items, what have you. But the actual timeline that the server goes on can also be...
Wait, I'm sorry, Rogan. I have to interrupt you. I have people freaking out already. Nilbog, I need you to read your disclaimer about Velius.
Okay. Anything talked about Velius in regards to the PvP server, it won't detract from Velius development because the content is the same on both servers. To be honest, the work that I would personally do for any PvP is negligible. Really, it would just be modifying problem items or changing rules for what already exists. It doesn't have anything to do with Velius.
Sorry, Rogan.
No, that's fine. No, I mean, that's something that does need to be said because we have two different aspects of development. You can see it in the patch notes. We have code and we have content. Nilbog heads up content. Content is pretty much anything that revolves around NPCs, items, quests, what have you. And then there's the code department, which is basically me, Cameras, and this new person that we'll be bringing on. And anything that is involved with creating a new PvP server, if it involves changing rules, creating, item loot, teams, whatever, that's all code related. And as far as the code goes, the code is pretty much all set for Velius. Content is the biggest aspect of any new expansion. And as far as content would go for any new PvP server, you wouldn't need to do anything content-wise for a new PvP server. It's all code-based. So there wouldn't really be any impact on the Velius development for that.
I like it.
What about faction guard assist?
Are they talking about guard assist?
That's fixed already, right?
I'm hearing it's based on whoever gets first to hit and not... They're protecting based on who starts the fight and not based on faction, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, on EQ Live, the way it worked was the person that was liked the least would be attacked. So,
Right, based on
for,
faction, not whoever starts the fight.
You sure?
correct.
I mean, I
Yes.
remember attacking somebody on live and even doing duels on live, regardless of faction. If I duel somebody and hit them first, I would get attacked.
See.
That's right. Depending on your faction, like you could both be amiable, but if you're higher amiable than the target, then the guard would decide that. Um, but currently, the way it works is whoever instigates a fight is attacked.
I was KOS everywhere except Erudin, so guards never helped me.
Yeah, somebody already posted a poll in Sirken's, let's not post polls right now. I'm going to go ahead and delete that thread.
They posted a poll on my what?
They posted a poll on P99 forums and linked it to your stream already.
Oh, these guys are quick. I gotta stop watching your stream. Oh, they linked it in yours too.
Yeah, well, it's gone already.
Oh shit.
So, no more creating threads. We'll handle that later.
But we love the initiative, guys.
So that's a lot. That's a lot of discussion that can happen. Teams, that whole topic on its own is going to be a hot debate. Item loot.
Item loot.
Have at it, kids.
Alright, well, Nilbog, I think you should probably start with that one.
Okay. I like item loot. When I played PvP, I played on Relic Zuck, and that was part of everyday play. I know some people didn't, and we also didn't have teams on Relic Zuck. So I think with all of the potential players that would start on a new server, it would be interesting at least to try the rule sets, the best ones of all of the servers. And item loot is pretty exciting. If you never tried that, the way it worked on live was that originally you could loot everything, and then they changed it to where you couldn't loot like primary, secondary weapons.
Right.
For us, we have a lot of options. We can make it whatever we want. From a fresh server for science, I think it's worth trying anything. You can make it, one droppable item with those same restrictions of primary, secondary, ranged. People will obviously talk about bagging. We could even make it to where you could loot from bags, but not be a weapon or armor or gems or anything. So it would be interesting to be able to have something. Anything at all when you loot somebody aside from coin, even if you could loot a non-magical item, that would be like a gem. Anything like that. We can do anything we want as far as I know. Is that right, Rogean?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different options. There's, having everything available, including everything in bags. There's also having everything except magical items, which, at the high-end level, that would really be only, like you said, gems and whatnot. Then there's also specific slots. Everything except primary, secondary weapon, and anything that's in your basic, your core inventory slots, one of the original 8 inventory slots. So everything in your bags will be accessible, but maybe one particular item that you don't want looted.
So essentially backwards from what it is now.
Yeah. I mean, completely opposite of what live used to be. We could also do. There's a lot of different available options. Based on the initial Twitch chat, a lot of people are against item loot at all. But I think that a lot of people aren't considering the fact that we can change it to basically work any way we want it to.
Yeah, I'm getting about a 50-50 reaction on it. One concern I saw was that someone said they felt it punishes non-raiders. But I feel really, even if you're a non-raider, there's still all kinds of quests that you can do to get no drop gear. So I mean, if you don't want to quest
Exactly.
and you don't want to raid, then yeah, you're probably gonna get the short end of the stick.
Exactly. At least on Relos, there was, initially a lot of quests that you can do as a newbie, and it gives you a no-drop item, and that's not very good on a blue server, but it is on PvP just because it's no drop.
Right. I 100% agree with you. I think also, I mean, if people can go in bags, I can't. The first time somebody loses like an amulet of necropotence to item loot, that's going to be a good day for me. So I've been on both sides of item loot. I had it as a player on Valenzek on live until they took it off, and I was a GM on the old server where we had item loot, and as a player I absolutely loved it. I was able to get a lot of my starter jewelry that way, and I lost some shit too, and it drove me crazy. And then as a staff member, I saw what it did to our server population. And so I feel like that if we were to not just turn on item loot, but actually put some effort and work into tweaking it a little bit, I think we could have some good results with it.
Just to touch on something I'm seeing in Sirken's chat here, if we do enable bag loot, it would highly restrict people running away from fights, trying to bag their important gear and things like that, fungi tunics. If people were able to root through your bags, you might have more incentive to fight them and kill them as opposed to running away and bagging your stuff. So it's one possibility.
And then there's also the possibility of, not allowing people to loot anything that was in your in your equipped item sections, primary weapons, all your gear like actually equipped, and only be able to loot inventory items like actual in your core 8 slots or bags. There's a lot of different ways you can go with it. It depends on the type of PvP you want to encourage as well. I mean, we don't want to have people shy away from PvP either.
Well, we want to encourage PvP and not so much griefing is what we want. I mean, this also gives, we want to make sure also that, like, I'm against not letting people loot inventory because I feel if a guy in a fungi twink goes down in a crush bone and starts picking on a group of 6 outside the castle, and that group of 6 should happen to kill him and he's wearing that fungi tunic, they should be able to take that shit. That's how I feel on that. But I'm also all for being able to go through people's bags. I think I think that's also pretty awesome. And I think if what we were saying earlier before, if we could do it how I had to have explained to me for 10 minutes before I understood, where instead of a bag you just have an item in that inventory place, then that item can't be looted. I thought that was a great idea too. But I like the idea of rifling through somebody's bags, and I like the idea of taking their armor. Um, I mean, even in that it's kind of a dorky thing, but in the Iliad, when these important fighters die, people start fighting over their armor, and in the hood, when they kill you, they take your shoes. So, I mean, I should be able to take some article of clothing from a person that I destroy on the battlefield, is my opinion.
I see some people talking about the resist in regards to item loot. That is one of the primary goals that I want PvP development to go in, is to fix resists. Whether it's 100% classic or community voted from that, that's the baseline we should start at. Additionally, in an item loot system, I'm open to fixing things like the Trakanon's Tooth, Soul Fires being paladin only, things like that to completely balance it out to where you can't just click your way to victory.
Yeah. I'm with you on all that. I
Somebody's
think
claiming that nobody understands programming in this chat. Is that to insinuate that we wouldn't be able to implement any idea that we have here? Because that's not the case. We can really do anything we want. And this guy just was like, "Oh, you don't understand what you're talking about."
we got a heckler in Rogan's chat or what?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Hold on. I got people. People in my chat want Rogan to know that he should not let those people troll his ass. So, reminder from Sirken's chat, don't get trolled. But clicky discussion, that's what we were just doing, wasn't it? Weren't we just talking about clickies? Or
Yeah, we're
did
talking
we?
about resist, right?
Oh, I think we teased them by mentioning clickies, because now my people want to talk about that. But yeah, basically what Nilbog is saying is that we're bringing people on with PvP experience that know some shit, and they're going to help us make all the changes we need to make. And we're very hard working on getting the classic resist back so that this new server can have those classic resists. What about OP clickies? They want to know about Soulfire and tracking on Tooth and shit like that.
I just responded to that. I'm willing to try that out. It is not classic quotes to do that. So if the majority of the people want to try that out for the good of PvP, I'm down for science. Like I said again. So
All in the name of science.
that's right. And the way it works is that we have a rule-based system for the servers, so we can make things one way for PvP and another way for PvE. It's not that big of a deal.
I'm actually
Um,
being told, although I doubt Agatha has any proof here, but he's saying that back on live, only paladins could click Soulfires.
as
I
far
don't
as I
know.
know, that is incorrect.
So if you have proof, Agatha, you need to send it to Nilbog or submit it in the bug forum more better appropriately.
Sure.
And
On
also
my
including on that, I've heard from multiple people that the track tooth was not did not work in PvP. Only in PvP did the life tap exist. So if anybody can prove that as well, I'm sure Nobog would like to take a look at it.
And a couple of people are trying to bring up the topic of zone plugging.
Yeah, I got some zone plugging people in here too.
I'm not sure, honestly, what they really want us to do about that because,
Plugging is classic.
yeah, it's classic. That's one of the biggest arguments you can make against it.
We used to call it Blizzy modeming
I
because of
mean, the other thing
Blizzy.
is, like, what happens to people that actually legitimately get disconnected while zoning?
Fucking banned.
I mean, I guess what people would really want to happen is for them to just pop out on the other end anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I would be all for something that, like, if you zoned and disconnected, it would still force you to pop out on the other side for a minute. Like, I
Yeah,
would, I
problem
would
is
be
it
all
could
for
take
that.
it could take up to 5 minutes for somebody to go LinkedIn while zoning.
Oh, here's a good one that I don't even think we brought up earlier. Lenowin's asking, what about the anonymous, like when you search for players, being able not to be anonymous?
What about it?
Well, back on VZTZ, we turned that shit off, so you really couldn't hide. Um,
Well, that's
like
classic to be able to hide, though.
it is classic, but I'm just saying, maybe think outside of that tiny box. Because I
If you
mean,
stop,
I
if you
under,
stop,
I, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I understand the desire for having nobody able to hide themselves, but I also understand, just looking at it as a general feature or whatever, I mean, I can see how a lot of people would want to hide, and it's something they were able to do in Classic, but that's not the only reason I'm saying that it should still be something that they are able to do, because, when you say you have a raid, it's also something to hide your raid if you're, about to take on a target or something. You want everybody to know where you are and be able to come in and disrupt it and everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that as well. Not everybody wants to PvP all the time. There is raid days or grinding scenarios where people just want to be chill. Not have to worry about a raid of 30 people coming in and dropping them out.
Well, see, here's my thing. I feel that if enough people get behind this and the population was higher, say 300-400 people, it wouldn't even be an issue. Right now it's an issue because the population numbers aren't great, and so people have trouble finding people to PvP with. But I feel if there was 300 or 400 people running around the server, you wouldn't see empty zones, you wouldn't really have as much trouble, and it wouldn't even be an issue.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I spend a lot of time watching people PvP and or jumping through zones, and
Yeah.
I think his mic cut out.
yeah, sorry about that. I cut out. Half
Sounded
the,
like you
I
were
don't
on an
know.
airplane there for a second.
Yeah, I don't know where I was with that, but I run around. I follow a lot of people, watch a lot of PvP. Um, Half the zones I go through are always empty. If there's one dude in there trying to grind out some levels, and anybody can see where he is, then just come and gank him at it. I guess that's the whole PvP aspect of it, but you do need to be able to hide at some point.
Well, I mean, it's not even so much hiding as forcing people to discover you and not just beeline to you, you know?
I want to put another disclaimer out there right now. A lot of people are posting in the channels with derogatory attitudes saying, oh, the devs are fucking retarded for trying to consider this type of mechanic. We're considering all angles right now. We're tossing the ideas out to you guys for you guys to let us know how you feel about it.
Thinking outside the
Nothing,
box.
yeah, exactly. Nothing's being decided on right now. We're merely tossing everything out for discussion. So, just putting that out there to let you guys know that what we're talking about isn't going to actually be what the server will have. We're tossing it out there for discussion, and we'll make decisions based on feedback.
Yeah, it's an open discussion, an open forum. So, and stop feeding the trolls, my people are saying. They're saying trolls 2, Rogan 0.
I don't think that's really necessarily feeding trolls. People legitimately think that, oh, they're set on item loot. They want to have item loot. It's like, no, we're not completely set on item loot. We've received quite a lot of feedback from people saying, oh, they'd like to see item loot. So we're tossing it out there.
It would be ignorant of us not to consider it.
Of all of the different PvP servers, that was a rule set of some of them. So the
Actually,
players that we have, including myself, that's what we're used to doing.
Sullen Zek is the only PvP server I'm pretty sure that didn't have item loot at one time or another. The other 3 absolutely did. I know Ralos had it the longest. I know Valen and Talon both had it, and then it got taken away from one of them. I don't remember who lost it first, either Valen or Talon, but they offered a one-time transfer when that happened. In case you wanted to stay with the item loot, you could transfer.
What is Agathar talking about?
Agatha's crazy.
He's talking about
He's
VPN and
he's
joining
banned. He's banned from your channel, and he wants to join your channel, but he can't because he's banned. So he's talking about getting a proxy or a VPN and making a new account so he could get on your channel.
What channel, though?
Your stream channel.
I banned him from my stream?
That's what it seems like. I haven't banned
I
anybody.
haven't even banned Salty from my stream.
You tipped him off. He might have forgotten. It might have been about time. But yeah, no, he says he's banned from your channel.
All right, so I want to bring up something that has been brought to my attention a few times last night and then again just now. What would be the chances of adding in a group XP bonus for people who want to group up and level up and
I think
have a little
that's
bit of extra bonus?
I think that's a great possibility.
I would love anything that encourages socialization on an MMO.
Yeah, I think the EXP bonus is good for a PvP environment, but part of it should be restructured into a grouping bonus. I mean, especially if we're going to do teams, it further encourages people to group.
Right. If you're doing something where you cannot literally PvP the person you're grouped with, then I could see adding a little bit of XP for that group.
All right, next topic, level range. We've talked internally about on the new server reducing the level range down to 4 levels. So let's toss that out there for some opinions. What do you guys think if we had a team server? Let's go with the assumption that it'll be a team server. I think that was a pretty strong opinion anyways. We'll see what the opinions are for what level range should be. Right now it's 8 on the red server, but we're strongly considering 4.
Well,
Yes.
me personally, I think that, well, I've always done 8. I think 4 couldn't hurt. Regardless of how things turn out, eventually over time, any server is going to become top heavy with levels. And you're going to have a lot of level 60s just waiting for those 52s to come into range and make their lives miserable. And I think if it was 56, those people would have a much better time trying to at least defend themselves. Unfortunately, there is no stand your ground laws in Norath.
Yeah, somebody just did mention in my stream 4 until 52 and then 8, which would actually go against one of our opinions of that. It's very difficult for people that are hitting level 52 right now that are just getting completely destroyed by level 60s. So one of the reasons we would actually bring it down to 4 to begin with at all is just because that it's becoming very difficult for people to get to the high levels when they're it's an 8 level range and level 60s are just owning everybody under them.
Yeah, and another thing I just want to say is some people are worried that if you lessen the limit, they're going to have again less PvP targets. But again, I say, if things go the way we're hoping they go, higher population means more targets for everybody.
I see the biggest concern is out of range healing.
Yep.
We can do something about that, correct? If somebody joins the fight, they can be killed.
Well, we can always do something about that. I mean, one of the original systems, when the first Red server originally came out, that was one of the systems I almost had in place. Was if you, do you remember that temporary system where, like, let's say you were level 52, and what was it? You healed somebody that was, I gotta find a better example. Let's say, what this guy's talking about, level 55 is healing. Let's say the level range was 4, and the level 55 healed somebody that was level 58. They would now be flagged for everybody from level. They would be attackable from everybody from level 50 to 62 because they healed a level 58.
Right.
That was the original system I had in place.
I like
A
it.
lot of people said that it was too complicated, too complex, and
Trust me, they'll figure it out.
we ended up taking it out.
As fast as they figure out the variance timers, trust me, they'll figure this out.
Yep. Change their name to a different color and let everybody know.
Yeah, but I think that would be great. I mean, that way if you make the decision to try an immortal heal or cross team or whatever, you're flagged.
And then
And
the other thing is, like, that would be a good situation for if a lower level was healing a higher level. It would make the lower level attackable by anybody who would be attacking the higher level anyways. The other issue is higher levels healing lower levels. What do we want to do in that situation? Now, we can simply make the same code apply. If a level 55 heals a level 30, they're now attackable from everybody from level 26 up to level 59 or whatever. But a level 30 isn't really going to be able to do much against a level 55. So how do we want to address that? Somebody does bring up another point, which is also something that was coded into that system originally. If you if you were 55 and healed a level 30, you would become attackable by anybody that was level 26 and higher, but you wouldn't be able to attack them until they attacked you. That's, like I said, this system that I had originally implemented was very complex like that, and it worked, but people deemed it too complicated.
Well, I wouldn't worry about complicated. I mean, if it works, and it really doesn't matter if they understand it.
People say just look at SE rules to address it. What did SE rules do to address that?
Oh, my dog is pissed. Hold on. So, somebody actually said something, and I gotta scroll up to find it because. Okay, I don't know if we can talk about this, but Nilbog, you showed me something with some goblins earlier. I was wondering, is that something you can talk about? Like, is there any chance we'll see something like that on the new server? Or is that like, shut
Um,
up, don't talk about that?
I'm not really sure what you're talking about. Can you be less cryptic?
I could, but I won't. There's a red goblin and there's a blue goblin.
I got you. Capture the flag. That
Yes.
that was temporarily
oh, you're talking
implemented
about the
as
Planet Time thing?
yeah.
Oh, that was the shit.
Yeah, he
Yeah, that
showed
was
me
pretty
that
cool.
today.
I
Um,
think that's still coded into the server. We should open that up.
I'm just
yeah.
saying, I think that would be a lot of fun.
I'm
You know,
not
it's
opposed.
always been an idea of mine to like on a PvP or even on like both servers, have like maybe an NPC in every city where you could go to queue up for like little war zones, like do like 6 for 6 war zones. You get ported into the war zone, you have your fun, and you get ported back out, and you have a winning team, and you have like leaderboards and stuff.
Well, I feel we should have a leaderboard anyway.
That was the other thing too, is if we don't have, excuse me,
Don't die, buddy.
yeah, I don't know. If we don't have item loot, there still needs to be an incentive to PvP, and I'm wondering if a leaderboard or a tracking system would be incentive enough to encourage PvP.
Well, I mean, if you have teams, now all of a sudden entire teams can hold down areas. So they're going to have reasons for PvP because they're going to want to lock down dungeons. Especially, your upper level dungeons from 40 to 60. They have yellow text, they have raid mobs, they may or may not have item loot. That being said, I still think leaderboards are a great idea, and I still think something like that time capture the flag thing would be excellent.
Yeah, there's also territorial type games. I mean, you can control cities. Nilbog's turning his name black.
I would definitely love to see a leaderboard. I mean, we have the unofficial one from Elderon.
I don't
Uh,
acknowledge that anymore. They took me off of it.
yeah, they don't count our GM kills anymore, but it is very cool to see who's PvP and who's getting killed, what guilds are up there, stuff like that. I would definitely love to see an official one.
I would too, and I would like to see myself on it.
No, you can't count, dude. You just waste people at the beginning quest. You go up by 30 in an
uh,
hour.
I pull out an Uzi and just spray.
That's something that I probably would actually create like an in-game window for. We have the ability to create custom windows. It's a shitload of work, but something like in-game leaderboards, or even like I said, having arenas, and at the end of every arena, if you guys have ever played Star Wars, yes, I'm bringing Star Wars into this discussion. At the end of every war zone and at the end of every arena that they're about to implement, you have a not a leaderboard, but like a summary screen that shows kills, damage, healing done, everything about the game.
Right. Even defense in some situations.
Yes, protection, because
Yes.
that you had like taunts and whatnot that helped in PvP, and it
Mhm.
doesn't do anything in this game though.
No. But you
Well,
could
there's
make
always
it. You
the
could. Whoa. You could make it. You could just set like if a player's in a certain area around like the home base of the flag or some shit, they accumulate defense points, couldn't you? I think you could.
People ask me if we really have the time for it. You know,
We don't have the time for shit.
No, we don't. But we're working on a new PvP developer, and as soon as I get out of my busy season for work, I'll have some more time to actually do some stuff again.
Mm-mm-mm.
There's always the in-game message boards that don't do anything that you could click for a leaderboard. As far as I know, that you could bring up a window to do that. Is that right?
Where is one of those?
There's one in Kano.
There's one in CS Home.
Is there? Where is
Yeah, down by the PvP area.
In the basement.
I'm gonna go PvP while you're there.
Uh-oh, that didn't go so well for you last time.
it? Them be fighting words. Where is it?
Oh, I don't see any NPCs in the basement.
No, it's not in the basement. It's up. It's up. Come to me.
It's not
Oh,
an
it-
NPC. It's
Yeah, it might be the merchants. My bad.
Yeah, come to me.
Oh, there it is.
Nice.
Well, is there like does it actually still send the opcode to the server?
As
Oh.
far as I know, yeah.
It does. You think it does?
Yep.
Hang on, we're gonna test this. Everybody zone out for a second.
I will zone out, but not because you told me to.
We are going to test this.
I'm in Kira Ridge.
You went to Kira Ridge, I went to Oasis. Oh, you know what, Zade, where'd you go?
East Commons.
Oh, that's boring.
I'm gonna go PvP somebody. Hold on.
Whoa. I'm pretty sure it's a hate crime if you kill a player.
So I don't kill him. I just mess him up and then run away.
I think that's worse.
I don't want to mess up the leaderboard.
It doesn't matter, they took you off. I want to kill so many players that the leaderboard just shatters like a goddamn backboard that Shaquille O'Neal broke in 1992. That's
I'm
what I
hearing
want.
no to the opcode, so maybe not.
Well, we're about to find out. What does that run on? 80. Yeah. I think it's 86.
People want to know if we can make Duck cancel spells on Red.
Where's the fun in that?
It's how it is on Blue.
No, that does suck, especially if you're casting like like a teleport or some ridiculously long spell.
I think it should be added to blue as well.
Yoda.
But, yeah.
What's up, Yoda?
It's like, wait, you can Duck to cancel on Blue. Yoink. Sorry, Blue. I'm gonna have 1,000 angry PMs in my box after this. I got reported for speed hacking the other day in Crushbone. I swear to God.
I got reported the other day too. It was pretty awesome.
That was pretty great. They're like, oh, there's a speed hacker in Crushbone, and I'm standing at the entrance like, I think he means me. Oh, Jesus. Nope, that's not what I wanted. So, in case you guys are having problems keeping up,
I hope you're not in CS Home anymore because I just stopped the zone.
Rogean just killed CS Hizzy, but he's doing big things. He is messing around with the message boards. If you guys are familiar with the message boards in like Quanos and
I'm on the wrong server.
and some other
I
bars
just stopped on the wrong server.
and some other
Ambrodos was on blue or something.
and some other bars and taverns. Oh my God! I'm being attacked by Ambrodos. He can't catch me. I'm the motherfucking gingerbread man in this bitch. Sorry, hold on. Empty railed me. Anyway, we're trying to set it up so you can run it, or Rogan's checking to see if it's possible if he can set it up so that when you run and click on the old message boards, it would work as a leaderboard.
Oh, my IP just got shown. Oh well.
It's okay. I'm sure our community is a bunch of good, honest folk that wouldn't do anything wrong with that.
There's currently no opcode being sent unless it's being ignored by the server. I don't think we have an opcode for that though. No, I don't think it exists in the client anymore.
Well, if it doesn't, then there's nothing we can do except make a custom one. I'd like to report Zade for staff abuse. I have screenshots of him striking me with his weapon. Unprovoked. Oh, I felt some... you guys and your spam.
We have a couple other things to talk about still.
We do.
So, let's go back to see us home.
God damn it.
And I'm gonna grab another beer. We'll be right back.
Alright, you get your beer.
Quick intermission. 2 minutes.
Damn, somebody said something in OOC and I lost it.
There's a lot of shit that said no OC.
That's the problem. So, also, wonderful listeners on everybody's everywhere. I will say, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I can't get in trouble for it because it's not really important. But we don't have a name for the server yet. So if you have any really awesome creative names, send them somewhere. Surprise me with where you send them. I don't care. Start a thread and post them in that thread. Don't post shit everywhere. That will make me cry. Uber Bandit, remind me when Rogan's not AFK. I'll ask him.
And just a quick update while we're in intermission here. If y'all have a bug petition or something that does not involve in-game assistance, immediate character assistance, please do me a favor and post that shit on the forums. Save me a lot of time. Like item reimbursals, that's all Sirken. I can't do nothing for it except tell you to go to the server, the forums. So bugs, bug reports, item reimbursals, all that stuff is handled on the forums. If you lost a corpse, something like that, petition that and gain immediate character assistance. And a lot of people are asking for an ETA on this new server. I'm going to go ahead and say this, that there is probably no ETA at this point. This is all discussion. We're just talking about it, trying to get some feedback from y'all. So just hold tight on the ETA. And just like Velius, the more you ask about it, the longer we push it away. So Velius is supposed to be released sometime around 2023, I think, at this point. So just hang on.
Third quarter 2023.
And yes, that is a troll. So don't send me tells.
Although, if it is not out by 2023 and you can still get in touch with Zade, feel free to send him a tell.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll be here. I'll be here waiting for y'all. Shit, I just dropped my cigarette.
I lost Nilbog. I don't know where he's hiding. Oh my god, I found Nilbog. He's not hiding. He's
He's- oh
standing
god.
on Rogan's head. Oh, Nilbog, so shiny.
Name.
So Rogan, you're back. Hmm. So people had one person asked me a question like a week ago when I was streaming, and I told them to ask me tonight while you were here because you're really the only person in a kind of position to answer that. And it's not really a PvP question, but I feel it kind of affects all the servers anyway. They said that they know it takes, we have a thorough vetting process for our guides, the people we bring on, and we're very picky about the people we bring on because we have to trust them with certain levels of access. And so he asked me, have we ever considered, hold on, let me scroll up, I'll tell you exactly what he said. But I think you know what I'm getting at. He asked me if the guide selection process may be changing anytime soon. And I was
Well, there,
wondering if
there,
you had
there are
any
ways
on
we
that.
should. There are steps we can take to improve our vetting process. Right now, it's basically when we start feeling the pain of not being able to handle everything, I basically bug you guys to go through and find some people, and then we kind of review them. So I've had an idea for a while now, but it kind of relies on other things being completed, such as our new petition system and whatnot, that would kind of allow us to bring on new guides with minimal risk so that they could do stuff like looking through the petitions, assigning the petitions to the correct team to handle them, and then they'd be able to assist with minor stuff like course recoveries, things that don't require them to actually mediate any disputes. They wouldn't have the powers to ban or anything. And when we get that system in place, we'd be able to actually bring on a new guides without having to worry too much. And they'd still have some access, so we'd still need to do some vetting, but we wouldn't need to worry about them going off on any banning sprees or anything.
And if somebody was interested in filling out an application, what kind of people are we looking for?
Uh, People that are trustworthy. Trust is one of the biggest qualities we look for. Um, People that can keep their head, keep a cool head in any situation. People that are, willing to at least devote a good amount of time because there is a training process involved, and it involves time on our part to train you on how to do everything. So it would be reasonable to expect that you also have a decent amount of time to commit in return. Um, Outside that, you should be somebody who can keep an unbiased opinion about situations, be able to be up for helping people, have good people skills, good social skills, those types of things, and be at least somewhat technical savvy, so that you're able to multitask between the client, the website, the forums. You can even multi-box your play character if you want, as long as you're only a guide.
Sounds super and simple. And if anyone's interested, go right to the guide application section of the forums and fill out an application. I hope
Did you
that
just
answered
interview
your...
me? You did. You just interviewed me.
I did not. I wouldn't do that.
You definitely sounded like an interview
We
there.
had
You
a...
asked a question, then you're like, "Oh, there you have it, people."
No, we were discussing, and it was somebody in my channel who asked me to ask you that. And I promised him I would.
Tiggles says that's his job. Yeah, Tiggles, you'll never get me on an interview now.
Well, he
That is
got you
never gonna
on one.
happen.
He has you on
He
one.
got me. No, that wasn't an interview though. That
It
was me
was. It
owning the
was.
shit out of a little fucking hacker on the server.
That was the Zip Zop interview.
It wasn't an interview. It wasn't an interview. Well, it was an interview for him.
Yes, of
For me, it
him.
wasn't an interview.
No, for you it was an ambush. You're like, let's get him. Red team, go.
All right. Sure, go for it, Zade. Zade wants to talk about variants. So, what do you want to talk about in relation to variants?
All right, basically, from what I've seen, you have half the server, the Nylum people who are, raid their targets on whatever day repop day is, and then, you have the other half of the population who is for variants. Now, I just wanted to put it out there about, the potential of having variants maybe on this server, on red server, or on the new team server.
Um, all right, well, I'll jump in then first. So I don't think variance is a good idea on the red server. I know a lot of people do. I don't. And the reason for that is because if everybody knows exactly when something's going to spawn, that's how you're going to get the biggest PvP fight for that mob. Short and simple, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I see that. Originally when I first started, I was thinking the same way. Okay, so set mobs. This mob is gonna pop on Friday, 8 o'clock p.m. Be there or fucking lose the mob. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get that mob or you're not gonna get that mob.
Dude, Sirken,
If
you
you,
need to lower your frame rate. It looks like Zade's humping the pole on your screen.
Zade is humping the pole on my screen.
Here, I'll drop my live. Where was I with that?
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I just opened Sirken's screen and saw that and was a little disturbed.
Hey, this is an 18 and over stream, pal.
Is it?
It
I didn't have any
is.
disclaimers like that.
Oh, well, you had to have at some point. I promise. I got scared.
All right, so yeah, like I was saying, from what I noticed, a mob spawns at a set time. Originally I had thought that, if everybody knows when that mob is going to spawn, then, that's your prerogative to get there, PvP, try to win that mob. But from what I've seen, the people who go to contest that mob get pretty much smacked down. It's like if there was, this is more of a PvE perspective, in my opinion. I would say for PvP, variants shouldn't exist. You should know when the mobs are. You should be there, ready to fight when the mob spawns. But in a server where one guild has been killing these mobs for a year and have all the loot, they're greatly overpowering anybody who has opposition or who gives opposition. So instituting a variance policy would give them the ability to
Okay,
get some loot in order to PvP.
okay, but here's my problem, my big problem with that. If, I mean, we can agree that if it's a variance, people will obviously be less ready for it, and as such, they're going to have less people available at the spur of, just the drop of a dime to kill a dragon. And that's going to reward the number one current guild, whichever guild that may be. If it was on the blue server, well, no, there's not PvP there. On the red server, that would be Nihilum. And I see zero opportunity. I think the bigger problem is that guilds don't really work together. I mean, if I was the anti-Nihilum crowd of people, the first thing I would do is make a rule that says you don't fucking kill anybody who doesn't have a Nihilum tag. If they don't have a Nihilum tag, you do whatever you can to show them Nihilum's the bad guy of the server and we're the superstars of the server. And you start recruiting and you start fighting fire with fire. Sometimes you don't get to do everything you want the exact way you want to do it. And if you decide, oh, we can't beat Nihilum, so let's go beat these other younger, newer players. All you're doing is driving all the new players straight to the competition. I mean, the number 2 guild on Red is the absolute best recruiting tool Nihilum has. And I feel that it's more of bad decision making than a lack of variance that leaves the raid scene in the situation it's in.
Yeah, I agree to that to a point. Nilam's been pretty much uncontested. I mean, from what I've seen in what the 10 months I've been on Red, there has been guilds that come and go, that come contest, either switch servers or move. Um, so I don't want to take anything away from Nylum. Say, they've had these spawns unlocked for however long they've been here. So I mean, to go ahead and institute variants at this point would kind of be, a shot at Nylum. But I think, in my personal opinion, that it would benefit the server as a whole. But I don't know for sure how it would turn out in the end. But
Well, I mean, I see it being much. I mean, for if you have 100 people in your guild, say you're the number 2 guild and you have 100 people in your guild, and you know exactly to the second when Latazol is gonna spawn, you will get probably 80 people if you need to. You can pull 80% of your guild hopefully for a raid. If it's any time in a 3-day window with an extended variance, if it drops into the back end, you're not gonna pull that. And I mean, not only are you not gonna outmobilize the biggest, best geared, highest leveled guild, you're also going to lose to them in PvP, even should they show up a little bit after you. It's not like Blue Server where you just throw a javelin and you got first to engage, so the mob is yours. I
Quickest
mean,
jab in the West.
yeah, that shit doesn't
yeah,
fly on Red. They'll shove that javelin up your ass and slaughter you and take your dragon and take your pixels and go home. So, I mean, I really don't think a variance on a PvP server is a good idea. I mean, maybe on a couple mobs, and then we could see how it works with a couple versus see how it works not being on some others. Um, but I think if everything was on a variance, they would just, I think it would be no contest. I think it would be ridiculous. The only reason I think variance works on blue is because there's no PvP or guild war on blue. I think blue needs guild war if that was ever fixable. But I think I think variance is very good for a blue server, and I think variance is very bad for a red server.
I definitely agree on the blue server. I mean, any time of the day you pop into corridors and there's 16 people sitting at VS spawn point. Um, so I mean, just to have them all in one zone at one time would be insane. But I don't know. I could definitely swing either way on variants on red.
Or
I could play either side of the fence on that one. But I would like to see people not know when spawns are coming at this point.
right, and it's fun when people race to shit because they don't know it's happening. But at the same time, all that does is ask for poop socking, which people say won't happen, but it will happen just with more people so that you can't run down with 6 guys and gank the tracker.
Right. Yeah. I mean, poop sucking is undoubtable. People will be in zone. Trackers will be checking, but
Oh, tracking is classic as hell. I was tracking mobs back in late 99 or mid 2000, somewhere in that area. I mean, tracking always happened. And bat phones always happened.
so speaking of bat phones, just to throw it out there, I think that variance would be whoever has the quickest bat phone, the quickest organizational skills, and whoever can PvP first on the way to the mob gets that mob.
Yeah.
Instead of porting into Sibyllus when there's 30 people sitting at the zone line waiting to gank people one by one as they pop in. And this works either side of the fence, whether Guild A is sitting in Sibyllus or Guild B is sitting in Sibyllus. As you port in one at a time, you're getting wrecked one at a time. I'd rather see people fighting at the
Well,
Trachodon's teeth.
you don't
Teeth in the
zone in
zone.
one at a time. You zone your tanks in first to withstand the heavy damage, and then your caster types, and then your healers last, so that hopefully, there's some semblance of control at the zone in by the time your healers are in the zone. I mean, if everybody zones in at the same time, then they have no fucking idea what they're doing, and they deserve to get picked off as they're zoning in. but that's just my opinion.
All right, so we have, you know, we can also open that up to community for discussion about variants and see what people think.
What about you, Rogan, Nilbog? What do you guys? How do you guys feel about it?
No bug, go.
I think that variants on the PvP server, if instituted right now, the guild with the most people would benefit the most. If everyone can't come together at a known time, how can they come together on off times? That's my opinion.
So you think it would make the rich richer and the poor poorer?
Right. And encourage poop sucking, no doubt.
And like I said, I mean, maybe if we did it on like some mobs and then not on other mobs, and then we could see how it works with both.
Yeah, I would be down for that. I would like to at least see what happens with a variance mob and see how it plays out.
We can definitely play around with it, see how it does.
Because I agree, that off-peak players, might not, whatever, but yeah, like I said, I would like to see the outcome of a variance mob on a PvP server.
I think it would reward more, or rather, I think my thing is for the red server, I think as much that can be decided by PvP as possible, the better. And with a variance, you're not rewarding PvP so much as you're rewarding PvE mobilization skills, which is also important, but it shouldn't be more important than your PvP skills, is my thing, I guess. And if you guys will excuse me 1 second, I have to get another drink.
Somebody mentioned me in tells. People think that the current red server is going to get wiped. I shouldn't have to reiterate again. We never wipe a server. You should never fear about losing any of your characters. Whether, if we open this new server, whether red gets merged into it later on, or the new server gets merged into red later on, or one of the servers gets merged into blue. I've already said that, or maybe we can recap on what we've discussed. This new server will be a third server that we have. We have no intention of maintaining 3 servers indefinitely. Something will happen with one of the servers later on, whether one of them gets merged into blue or one of them gets merged into the other red server. Something will happen. No characters will ever be deleted. You would never have to worry about losing a character on Project 1999. It will never be the case. We've stated this multiple times on the forums. So you will never lose any progress with that. Other things that we've discussed so far is the type of server that it'll be. We're leaning towards teams. We're discussing the different types of teams that we could have. A lot of people like the idea of having 3 different teams. Exactly what those teams will be are still up for discussion. We've talked about item loot. A lot of people are against item loot, but there are a lot of different ways that we can implement item loot. We don't have to do the traditional item loot like Rallis Zek had on live, which was just being able to loot inventory, weapons, and anything that was in the core inventory without being able to loot anything bags. We can actually implement it so that you would be able to loot something that's in bags. We could also implement something that's completely opposite of what live had, in the sense that anything you had equipped is safe, anything in your core 8 inventory slots is also safe, but anything in your bags would be lootable.
AON.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options on the table for that.
Yeah, I think, like I said before, I think if we really put some thought into it, I think we could come up with a pretty awesome way to do item loot. Because item loot is fun, but it's not fun when you have a wizard running around one-shotting people with Ice Comet and just ganking everybody who is gear dependent and really doesn't have a chance. They're not. I mean, even if they win, what do they get? Some cloth? The wizard doesn't need shit. He can run around literally naked.
Some of the other things we discussed, we are bringing on a new developer. He will be addressing some of the core issues with the red server, PvP resists mainly, as well as working on probably some of the new stuff that we might need to introduce for the new server. We've talked about the level range. Right now, the current red server is 8 level range, but we are thinking of changing that to a 4 level range. A lot of people brought up the situation of having out of range healers, such as a cleric at level 55, able to heal their level 60 friends who are PvPing other level 60s who can't really attack the healer. That's going to be an issue. I mentioned the original system that I had in mind for the PvP server when we originally released it was having sort of like a temporary flagging system where if you assisted somebody outside of your level range, or even inside your level range, no matter who they are, what level they are, if you assisted them, your level range got expanded to include their level plus -4.
Okay.
But then we also had the issue of people like level 50s healing a level 30, but we don't want that level 50 to be able to attack level 30s now. You want just the level 30s to be able to attack that healer. So then that would require some sort of system where they would be then attackable by level 30s, but they wouldn't be able to, those level 30s wouldn't be able to get attacked by that 50 until they attack them first. There's also the simple mechanics of just making it so that you cannot do anything with anybody outside of your level range. I don't know if we brought up that before. I don't think we did. What do you guys think of that? If we just made it so that you can't group with people outside for plus or -4?
I don't know. I mean, I think it would be, if I understand it right, I mean, it would make grouping harder on a server that might have, not a great population.
Can't get ports.
Can't get ports.
Well, I'm not saying you can't group with them. I'm saying you wouldn't be able to get like healed or anything from them. Ports would still be workable. But yeah, I mean, that probably wouldn't be a good solution to the problem anyways. So, I mean, we can revisit that idea that I had with the temporary flagging system. I remember there being a reason that I took it out, though, on the original server. Do you remember what that was, Nilbog?
No, not honestly. I was working a lot at the time. Not sure.
I'm trying to look up my post here. 1 second.
I do think a lot of the classic problems are resolvable now. I'm not sure why they weren't then, but we can dynamically change what happens during the fight. So just need discussion and input from the community.
So, I actually found my original post that I had made that detailed the dynamic system that we had in place on the original server that we ended up disabling before launch. It might still be coded in. Um, The original system was free-for-all 8-level spread. Any player doing a beneficial action towards somebody outside their level range of their level range increased or decreased to match the level of the player they're helping. This does not mean that the player doing the helping will instantly be able to attack players outside their range. It will mean that any player within the new range will be able to attack that player that helped and get his range also increased. Once an aggressive action is made by a player outside the first player's level range, will then be able to attack back. Oh, I'm going to link this thread. It's in the Twitch chat. But then we also, I think one of the things we did was we made it so that we had the FFA zones, which kind of alleviated those problems anyways. And somebody just brought up one of the points, I think, that we originally disabled the system was because if you cast Sao on a player that's lower level, or even higher level, I think higher level would be the more issue. Like, let's say a level 15 cast Sao on a level 30. They're now able to be attacked by level 34 players. Or they could even be attacked by the person they just casted Sao on. But I think didn't we make it so that it buffs didn't affect it. It was just heals. You guys still there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still here.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it worked. Would there be a way to make it in combat, and then the flag doesn't persist past all the hate lists being cleared from the PCs?
We could definitely make it something that, like, you know, if you attacked a player within a certain amount of time, that you're considered in combat in regards to that system. You also just gave me an idea, though. If what if we made it so that, and I'm just brainstorming right now, so as soon as I explain this idea, it might sound completely stupid after I explain it, so let's give it that disclaimer. What if you join a group with other players? You can't, let's say you cannot buff or heal a person outside of your group. No, I just already thought of a problem with this system, so never mind. I gotta catch up on some of this Twitch chat.
So I don't remember if we mentioned, I'll throw this in there while you're catching up on Twitch chat. Did we talk about the timeline and where it would start? And
Yeah, I mean, we want to start with Classic. We want to give people the chance to get some Guys of Deceivers and whatnot.
some legacy items.
Yeah, but it would either be, you know, time locked or probably something like 3 months in Classic.
Okay, so I like it. I like it. I don't remember whose question that was, but there's your answer.
What did the SC rules do to prevent somebody out of range healing?
There was no level range.
SC had no level range at all.
No level range at all. So you could take your level 60 into the Quanos Hills, and you could be that asshole from South Park that just killed all the South Park kids all day long.
Yeah, I love that episode.
I added Epvi to our CS Hizzy. People want to know if boxing's ever going to be on the table, and I feel like that's a no.
I'll let Nilbog answer that.
No.
Just like that.
All right.
Especially with a new server, it's very important to not have boxing. See how many people actually want to play. Some people only want to play one character, and they are at an extreme disadvantage if everyone else is playing too. Is my opinion.
And I personally at least feel it discourages grouping, and it hurts anyone who really just wants to play a druid as their main, because everyone's going to have a druid bot.
So I think that's going to be one of the most difficult um, discussions we're going to have, is because there's so many different people have different opinions on it. Is the level spread and how that is going to work with out of range healing. I mean, there's the easy way out. Just four levels, four level range spread, and just not doing anything about our out of range healers will be the easiest approach to it. But was that really rampant on some of the live servers?
Yeah, it happened. I mean, it happened a lot. But it happened more with the races than the levels. I mean, you're only in the littler levels for so long, and with the XP being what the XP is, there's not going to be a real big mid-level game going on. It's going to be mostly 50 plus, and the out of range healing thing really, in my opinion, it's not going to be a huge deal. I mean, yeah, it's going to piss some people off, but it's not going to be a game-breaking thing, in my opinion. We dealt with it for years and years and years on Valenzac on live. So I'm still getting tells from people that absolutely 100% disagree with everything I said about variants and feel that it would be the saving grace of a PvP server. And other than saying like the current system is horrible, I'm not really getting good reasons as to why they think it would be so much better. But I'm acknowledging them because I'm getting lots of tells.
Well, do I want me to turn variants on right now?
I don't know. I'm just acknowledging that there
Maybe we can
is.
give it to them for a couple weeks, see how they feel.
Well, I mean, like I said, on the new server, I would be willing to, like, say, turn it on for some mobs and turn it on for others. If you're looking at OOC right now, you
Yeah,
can
I know
see
I
them.
am.
Like,
That's
there's,
what I'm saying, turn it
these are
on.
all the people that have been sending me tells.
No, what do
So,
you think? Turning it on for a couple weeks, just for shits and giggles?
I'll do it for science,
science! Oh, goddamn science.
but I disagree with it.
You think it's the devil on a red server?
On the one that's running, yes. That's just my opinion, though.
Right. Right.
I don't go and look at the server every day, so
For sure. Well, I mean, to be honest, I mean, none of us play on it, and I think, honestly, Zade spends the most time on it of anyone on the staff. So, I mean, his opinion holds some weight in this here discussion. But me personally, I just don't see how it would do anything but make the rich richer and the poor poorer.
All right, give me just 1 second. I'm going to comment on that. Now, I told you guys my personal opinion. And, despite what people think, I listen to both sides. I listen to Nylum. I listen to everybody else on the server. So, and basically, at this point, I am for variants. I would like to see it. I would like to see how it turns out, how people PvP on the way. Um,
Nilbog, what's the variant's rule name? Nilbog.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
I'll find it. Oh, we can't enable it right now. We coded it straight into the PvP uh, rule that if PvP is enabled, there's no variance.
Oh, all right, just to elaborate a little more on that. So like I said, I do think variants would be good, but at the same time, the people who are saying, give me variants, are the people that are not in Nihilum. On the other side of the fence, Nihilum is saying that, hey, this is, how it is. Why change it at this point? This is the only reason to change variants on Red 99 at this point would be to hurt Nihilum. And, which I agree with. They've been doing their thing for however long they've been raiding their mobs. So variants at this point, you know, outside of my personal opinion, would be to get Nihilum not to kill their raid mobs.
But if I could just jump in, why, I guess what I don't understand is why anybody thinks it would be easier for Guild A, any guild, why it would be easier for any guild than it would be for Nihilum to bat phone, mobilize, and even if necessary, camp out alts at boss sites ahead of time, so when the thing pops, they don't even have to run there. They can just log in alts that were pre-camped, kill the dragon, and then turn around and kill who was ever coming to PvP them. Like these are like that's my thing. Like I look at the blue server and I imagine like if this happened on red, if because I mean Hylam has a lot of resources and I have nothing against them, but I don't want to. I'm worried about doing something that may just make the top guild topper and everyone else lower. And I don't understand how the smaller how it gives the smaller guilds a better chance, I guess. Although I would like to see full repops on both servers.
Me too. I want a simulated patch day respawn on both servers once a week.
And I know pretty much everybody agrees with that, but I know it's more like deciding how the best way to implement would be and stuff of that nature.
The big question about simulated respawns is how exactly it's supposed to be handled on the server when it happens. Because you can't just... I mean, what we want to do... This is not PvP related, is it?
Well, kind of, because
Well,
I'm
yeah,
talking about it on the red
Okay,
servers.
okay, I guess. The big problem, all right, so we want to be able to respawn every mob in the game. We don't want it to just be raid mobs, because we want to have everybody be able to benefit from this. And that's how it should be anyways, because when the service came down on Classic, everything respawned. But we also don't want to take the server down in order to do it. We don't want
Right.
to interrupt people in the middle of whatever they're doing.
Right.
So we have to think about what is the best way to do this without disrupting current groups that are doing something. Can't just respawn every zone in the server because they could have taken the time to split up a room. We do, hey, simulated respawn. Everything respawns while they're in the room, and then suddenly it's like surprise butt sex. They're gonna get raped. So we have to come up with the best way to actually handle it. I mean, we can give a warning, but we don't want to give too much of a warning because, we want it to be kind of like, hey, surprise, everything's respawning.
I hear what you're saying. I do. And we definitely don't want to interrupt gameplay, and we definitely don't want to. We don't want people to get surprised butt sexed, and we definitely don't want to take the server down if we don't have to. But at the same time, if we're simulating patch days did exactly all of those horrible things to people.
Patch days were predictable, though. It was always, Tuesday morning?
Well, maybe we could try to set it up so it's at the same time each week.
That's the other thing is that in order to give other guilds chances to actually kill something, it would have to be A, unpredictable. Well, maybe not. But B, it would have to be kind of
Well,
during.
actually, wouldn't you want it to be kind of predictable so that guilds could plan for it?
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's probably makes sense to do that. But
Because I know
also,
whenever you do it on the other server, I know guilds move. Like as soon as they know, as soon as you make your message, like camp out, get safe, whatever, watch out for the butt sex, and so they start doing that. They book their asses to certain mobs. I won't say who goes where because I don't want to, ruin anyone's chances in the future. But and these other guilds do that, and then you bring the server back up, and they get these mobs, and it's really the only time I see these smaller guilds getting mobs. And I mean, obviously the top guild still cleans up their fair share. And if one of the smaller guilds wipe, they're probably not getting a second go, especially on a PvP server. But I do think it would just be great on a PvP server because it logs everybody on, and it gives the opportunity for large scale PvP. If two guilds decide they're both going for a plane of fear, now you have chaos in the plane of fear, and everybody is logged on for it because you gave them notice and they were able to bat phone, and that's how you get the big number PvP.
so I like to do it at least during the day, during the hours of like.
Well, I understand you got to do it with what works for you. I
No,
mean,
no, it
oh,
wouldn't require my involvement at all once the system's actually coded in.
oh, that's beautiful.
That would be the whole idea behind it. It would just be completely random.
You want me to
But
research some patch notes and see what time they went down?
no. What I'd like to do is make it so that it happens randomly between, let's say, the hours between 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. or 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. Yeah, 12:01 p.m. to 12:00 whatever a.m. So that would be during the day, and give most of the guilds chances to actually do something with it.
I like it. I like it.
But then it's still the question's still there. How do we actually do it?
Well, that is up to you. I mean, obviously you want the easiest way to do it as possible with the least amount of player interruption, but whether the server come down for 2 minutes or
Server's not coming down. I've already agreed on that.
all
I
right,
just I
server
don't want
doesn't
the
come
server.
down.
I don't want the server to come down. So whether we have to
You could force a
give a
repop though, right?
yeah, we can repop it. We can. The question is, what do we want to do about people that are inside like a dungeon? Do
You
we
mean
give
like
a warning?
sitting on Poop Mountain in Trax Lair?
I'm right now. The only thing I'm talking about is somebody that's like in a camp spot with a room of mobs that's been split and cleared.
Oh,
That's their
okay.
camp spot.
Okay.
So they have it set up so that only one mob spawns every 5 minutes, and in between those mobs, they're pulling new mobs. So if we repop the zone, all of a sudden they suddenly have 5 mobs. Surprise, butt sex.
Mhm.
We don't want them to have to deal with that, so we can give a warning,
Right.
or we can move them. We can move them to the zone in. We can move them to a safe location, but that kind of sucks because now they got to re-clear all the way back down to their camp.
Yeah, but that's what you had to do on patch days.
Yeah, it's true. So I mean, that's why it's one of the things I'm considering.
Honestly, I think that give them a couple minutes to at least evac out or gate or whatever they have to do to leave, and then they can go back down and get their stuff. It only is going to happen at most once a week, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. It's 4 times a month. And it's not like they're not going to know it's coming. I mean, if it's on the same day every week, people are going to know it's coming.
Hmm.
I have lots of players that are asking me to have Rogan get them on Skype.
Why?
Why? Because they feel they can drop bombs of wisdom on everybody.
Yeah. Everybody wants to their opinion heard. I mean, that's what the Twitch chat's for, though. That's put your opinions in there. So, I mean, yeah, I could see giving like maybe a 5-minute notice and just not do anything, just have everything respawn in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the best way to do it, honestly. I don't want to have to